Just want to ask you, first of all, with that breaking news that Sir Keir Starmer, Labour, to be investigated over so-called beergate, what's your reaction to that?
Well, I think it's the right decision that Durham police have finally made. It's really important that it's clear that there aren't double standards, that the same rules actually do apply to everybody. And I think the public need to know whether Keir Starmer and Angela Rayner are guilty of quite a lot of hypocrisy over the last few months with what they've been saying in Parliament and outside Parliament, and now really how much they've been clamming up when they're being asked legitimate questions about what looks a lot like a party in Durham.
But potentially a banana skin for the Conservative Party, because if Durham police find that no rules were broken and they're cleared after this re-investigation, then they will effectively, no rules were broken here, but rules were broken with Boris Johnson. It could make it look worse in that sense.
Well, I think it's difficult to understand at the moment why Rishi Sunak, having a glass of water on the Prime Minister's birthday in the Cabinet room in a building he was working in anyway, was a breach of the regulation, whereas what we assume was a significant number of Labour Party officials, shadow ministers and activists having a curry and a beer at the end of a campaign day, why that wasn't a breach. It looks at least as serious. So if they do decide no rules were broken, I think people do need, it does need to be explained. OK, so what actually was the difference?
Yeah, interesting. A lot of Conservative MPs, of course, will be commenting on it today. Before, they wanted to wait for the outcome of the investigation when it was Boris Johnson, but in this case you guys are quite keen to comment on it.
Well, no, I think that the investigation absolutely should happen. I think it's taken a lot longer than it should have for Durham Police to look at this again, particularly in the light of the approach that the Met have taken in terms of how they've been interpreting what makes up a gathering, whether it's when people come together or what they do after that once they're already together. It's not how we'd understood the regulations at the time, certainly not how most of the media had, otherwise the Times would have put that story on the front page instead of the diary column when it was briefed out to by Downing Street at the time. So I think, if this was a breach of the rule as the police and the lawyers understand it, then that needs to be applied evenly and consistently, and it doesn't matter which party you're from.
Yeah.